So in this video we're going to be going through how to do 3D Pythagoras problems. Now if you are doing this, you've got to make sure that you've done just 2D, so basic Pythagoras first, otherwise this is just going to blow your mind. So this topic is quite an easy topic if you're someone that can visually see these shapes, okay? And if you're someone that isn't like that, that's okay, but it will give you a bit more time to understand why it works and actually which lines you're looking for. So starting with the first one, e.g. 1. So we're always generally given a diagram. If you aren't, make sure that you draw one, because actually seeing it on the page is much easier than to do the questions. So this diagram is just a cuboid. We're given the 3 lengths here, so the base there, the 4 and then the 5. We need to find the length of AC, so I'm just going to draw that in red on the diagram. Okay, so if you can imagine a cuboid, okay, AC is just the length from the diagonals on the bottom of it, okay? So I'm just going to use my speaker as an example. So let's say you've got a speaker like this, okay? On the bottom of it, so here, you're trying to find the length going from one corner to the other corner, okay? So just the diagonal there. So this is just basic Pythagoras to start off with. So I'm just going to draw a little 2D triangle to represent the question. So we've got A and C going across diagonally, and then we've got this B here. So the triangle that I'm drawing is like that, okay? AB we know is 3 because it says it on the diagram. BC we know is 4. And we've been asked to find AC, so I'm just calling that X. Okay, so I'm just going to do up here, make sure you can remember the formula. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, so just labelling the sides. So the longest one, okay, which is always opposite the right angle, that's going to be your C, and then A and B, it doesn't matter which way around you do it. Okay, so if we put them into the formula, so we've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So A is 3, B is 4, and C we've just called X. Okay, and then we just simplify it. So 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Add those together is 25, and then we can square root the answer at the end, which is 5 centimetres. Okay, don't forget the units as well. Okay, so that's the answer to the first one, part A. Now part B is actually where the 3D comes in. So we're trying to find the length AG, so I'm going to do this in green. So AG is going along here. Now this is going straight through the centre of the cuboid, okay? So again, coming back to my speakers, I'm going to just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so with the speaker, this is just a cuboid box. So we've found this length going across here. The one they're wanting now is from here, but rather than going just across the bottom, they want to go all the way through the cuboid into there. Okay, so it's literally diagonally across in the middle of the cuboid. Okay, and this is why I said it's quite hard to visualise it. So the triangle we've got, I'm just going to colour it in green, is this one here. So AG we're looking for. We're going to be using GC as well, which is the height of the cuboid. Let me zoom in again. There we go. And then we're going to be using the answer that we just found for AC. Now this question is also a bit annoying because it means that if you get part A wrong, you're likely then to get part B wrong as well. Now, if you show workings, you will get a few more marks, but obviously you will get the final wrong answer at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to draw the shape for B. So again, these will always be triangles. So we're using the triangle A to C to G. So A to C to G. Now CG is 5. AC is what we just worked out, which is also 5. Okay, and we're working out this length here. I'm just calling it Y just because it's a different letter to the first one. Okay, And again, you just use Pythagoras. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We need to make sure we label it. So AC must be A and this one must be B because they're the two shorter sides. Again, you can have them the other way around if you wanted. And this must be C. So we've got 5 squared plus 5 squared equals y squared. Okay, 5 squared is 25 plus another 25 is y squared, which is 50 equals y squared, and then we can square root, which I think is 7.07. Yep, okay, so square root of 50. I'm going to round it to one decimal place, so I'm going to write 7.1. So 7.1 centimetres equals y. Okay, and that's the final answer for that one. So I'm just going to move it up just a tiny bit. So for EG2, it is actually the same thing, except this time they haven't split it into two parts, A and B. Okay, so the reason why they did that for example 1 is just to sort of help you, whereas this one is just straight in. Okay, so we're trying to find AG. Actually, I'll do it in red just because red's a bit better. So A is at the front, G is at the back top, and we want to find the diagonal going through the middle of the cuboid. Okay, so before we can do anything, to be able to do this, we need to know what AC is. We need to know what the length of that diagonal is on the base of the cuboid. Okay, we do know what the height is already. We know it's 6, so that's a little bit easier. Okay, so we need to find AC first. Okay, so again, I'm just going to draw a simple triangle. Now you don't need to keep doing this every time once you get confident with it, but for now we are. So I'm using the triangle on the bottom, so ACB. Okay, and I'll just highlight it in black. So it's literally just on the base of the cuboid. ABC, fill in the numbers, so A to B is 10, B to C is 4, and we're trying to find AC. Okay, so if we label the sides, so that's your A, that's your B, that's your C. Okay, I'm going to do it underneath. I think I should be able to fit it in. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So A is 10 squared, B is 4 squared, and C is X squared. So that's 100 plus 16, which is 116 equals X squared. Can we still see that? Yep. And then we've got to square root it. Okay, so square root of 116. We get that, so click SD, 10.77, so let's round it up to 10.8. 10.8 centimetres equals X. Okay, so then we can actually find the AG. So I'm going to draw another triangle. So A along to C, along up to G. Okay, we know that GC is 6 because that's what's written here. The diagonal we know is 10.8. And we're trying to find this. Now, actually I'll start it first and then I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, these sides must be A and B, and the longest needs to be C, and then we can sub it in. So we've got 10.8 squared plus 6 squared equals y squared. Now I've written 10.8 squared. When I actually type it in, I'm going to keep it as the decimal here. So to do that, all I do is click answer. And the reason why we do that is because if we don't, we're going to lose all the decimal places that we got, because it isn't actually 10.8, it's 10.77. Okay, so I'm just going to click answer here at the bottom, answer, and then squared equals, and it gives me 116. So it will just give you the answer that was from here on the previous triangle. So 116 plus 36 equals y squared. Okay, and then we can add those together, 152. And then we square root at the end. 12.3 equals y. Okay, now there is actually a trick of doing these ones. You can do them all in one go. So it's like Pythagoras, but just for 3 values. So I'm just going to do an OR here. Okay, I'm just going to call them X, Y, and Z. Okay, so alternatively you can do this. Now these only work for the basic ones, which is why I've showed you the long way, because actually that's the only way we can do EG3, and you'll see why in a moment. So what we can do is straight away is just square all the 3 side numbers, so the 10, the 4 and the 6, add them together and square root it, and we should get the same answer. So just to show you, so X is 10, Y is 4, and Z is 6. Okay, if we square those and add them together, so square root 10 squared plus 4 squared plus 6 squared equals, and you do get the same answer. Okay, but again, it only works on the basic ones. It won't work for what we're doing next. Okay, EG3. Now this is the harder ones that you can get. Okay, so this time we're told that AH, so the red line, is 2 meters. Okay, we need to find the length AD. Now, first thing, they all need to be in the same measurements. 2 meters is different to all these that are in centimeters. So I'm just going to write on the diagram 2 meters, but in centimeters, so it'd be 200. Okay, so that diagonal is 200. Now these ones we've got to work backwards. Okay, so I'm going to start off with, actually I'll keep it in red. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the triangle that goes directly through the middle. Okay, so we know that AH is 200, we know the height, so CH is this. I need to find out the diagonal going along the bottom of the cuboid. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a separate triangle. So we've got A along here, H at the top and C along the bottom. So this is 160 and this is 200, and we need to work out this. So I'm just going to call it X for now. Actually, let's call it Y just because that one's called X. Okay, so we need to label it. So this must be the longest side because it's opposite the right angle, and these are A and B. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and we can sub it in. So A is Y squared, B is 160 squared, and C is 200 squared. Okay. And then we can actually work out what these are. So 25600. I think that's 40,000, but we'll check just because I'm on camera. Yep. Okay. And then these ones we're going to have to take the 25,600 away. So Y squared is equal to 14400. Okay, and then we need to square root at the end to square root. So Y is 120 centimeters. Yeah. Okay, so we've worked out then this diagonal is 120 centimeters. Okay, but we haven't actually got the answer. We're now going to be focusing on the little triangle here, on the base. So I'll draw it. Can you see over here? Yeah. Okay, so X is what we're looking for. Let's label it A, D, C. So that is 96, and this one is 120. We need to work out what X is. Okay, so again, label them C, A and B, and then use Pythagoras. So sub it in, so A is X, B is 96, C is 120. I know that's 14400. 96 squared is this. Take that away from both sides. And we get 5184. And then we square root. And we get 72 centimetres, and that's the final answer for all that work. Okay.